Hello and welcome to my weekly newsletter. And this is the July 4th, the 4th of July newsletter. And there are a few things that makes the 4th of July special. I'm all done up in my red, white, and blue. One obviously is it was the day that our nation was born. The second is it was the day that I was born. So, for me, it's kind of a doubleheader. For years, those of you who know me have heard me say, I came in with a bang, I'm going to go out with a bang, and I'm going to bang my way all the way through, and that's what it means to be born on the 4th of July. It's very interesting because I truly have always been a rebel, and I think July 4th is the perfect rebel's day. But there have been times when I've also been questioned about whether I was really a patriot or not. For those of you who have not seen Yours No More, about the idea of taking back the flag from those who would wave it with an agenda that had nothing to do with being American. It's one of the ones you'll find if you go to my YouTube channel to the Poetry Corner section. But for today, down below you have all the blogs of the week and all that information. But I wanted to share something with you that I thought was my version or my way to be patriotic this year, in July 4th, 2014. And that's 10 tips to creating a better government. So hold on, I'm going to try to go through them as quickly as I can. And there will be, I'm sure, a blog that will circulate out with a fuller form because that's the way things roll. But today, in celebration of the 4th of July, whenever you're watching this, I want you to hear my 10 tips. I've referred to this before on radio and TV interviews, whether it's my own show or, I get interviewed all the time on other people's show. So these are the 10 tips. And I'm going to briefly explain why I think each one would help create a better government, a government that we truly deserve instead of the one we've gotten stuck with. And yes, I say that on this, the most patriotic day of the year, because that's what it means to be a patriot. To speak out and to point out foul when a foul is happening. And if you want to see something pretty foul, all you have to do is look into Washington, D.C. these days. And this is not a political announcement or endorsement. This is not about either Democrats or Republicans. It's about the whole lot of them. So let me start. The first one is we need to end lobbying. Lobbying is that which creates the fact that very uber wealthy people and corporations basically own Washington. Maybe you've seen my hashtag, Who Owns Washington? Because the American people don't anymore. And as often as not, the things that are being enacted really do serve the few, not the many. And lobbying is right at the core of that. And it just needs to stop altogether. Go away. Non-existent. If it doesn't exist, then clearly all of the dollars are just what they are when they're lobbying dollars, but then they're illegal. They're called bribes. The second, we really need a minimum of 5 parties. The 2 parties have been passing back and forth the American people like the cash cow that it is, trying to turn us into ignorant sheeple that just go bah, bah, Republican, bah, bah, Democrat, and repeat whatever they say, when at the end of the day, it's been so gridlocked, there's been so many back-end deals, that the only people today that are really, making out are the top 1%, corporations, and the politicians. 3, level the playing field on campaign spending. I love how the state of Maine does it, not just because I come from the state of Maine, but I love it. You have so much. You get a little tiny pot. That's the pot. Every candidate that gets enough people to endorse them gets the same pot, and that's all you get to spend. No multi hundreds of millions of dollars spent on smear campaigns, confusing the issues, and basically trying to brainwash the American public into things that as often as not don't even represent truth. 4, term limits. I don't think these jobs were created for people to die in the chairs, and that's what's happening. I don't think that we should be having tenure in public education, and I think we need to question whether Supreme Court justices should rule till they either, drop dead on the bench or on the way to it or back. I think that there's a lot of things that made sense 200 years ago that don't make sense today, but that is one of them. We need to have term limits. 5, we need to tie salaries to how the constituents are doing. If you knew that your salary as a senator or a Republican was tied to how your state was doing and how it was performing, and that the people that voted you in actually were going to see benefits by you being there in Washington from them, then maybe you would make different decisions. Now, I'm following that closely up, and I'm actually going to jump out of order, but I'm going to, I'm going to call it, I'm going to stay right in order. Sorry about that, guys. Single issue laws. Complete transparency. Single issue laws. No pounding on the old budget of the old law, or an extra 10 million here, or an extra 50 million there, or an extra 5 million. I don't care if it's $5. The American people are tired of getting screwed. One law is a law, and that law goes up, goes down. But no more of this wheeling and dealing, the back rooms. I think the American people need to get the back rooms off their back, because you know what? We can't afford them anymore. Next, ethics, morals, and values contracts. There's been this nonsense recently that, technically it doesn't make any difference if one of our elected leaders lies. They get voted out of the office if the people don't like their lies. No. It does make a difference. When you are accepting taxpayer dollars to do a job that you were voted in to do, I think you should be kept to a higher standard. I think that higher standard means that you can attack an issue, but not somebody else, whether they're in or out of office. That if you are caught lying, clearly lying, and I know people are going to say, well, what's clear? We know sometimes it's clearly a lie. That's it. You have lost your ability to serve the people. And whatever you did, whether it was accept a bribe, whether it was to lie, intentionally mislead the people to get them to think something they didn't, or just to slam and mudslide your way and claw to stay in office, that you're out. In fact, I think that not only should you be out, I think maybe you need to repay what we paid you. And I think there ought to be mandatory, yeah. I'm not a big one for mandatory sentencing, but I think there should be mandatory sentences. You gave the people, and the people gave you a sacred trust that if they put you in office, that you would serve them. And when we find out that you've been doing nothing but self-serving, lying, do whatever you can do to stay there, and making things that you cannot defend or back up, okay, then it's a time you got held accountable, truly got held accountable. So the next one is benefits in line with the people that you serve. You shouldn't get a special health care policy. You shouldn't get these ridiculous pensions, no matter how long or how short you served, for the rest of your life. They crippled our corporations, they have crippled our country, and they're crippling them not only in Detroit, but in Washington. And I think it's time that we completely said, hey, look, you're a public servant. This is the benefits all public servants get. Why are you getting benefits that are multiple times worth more, have more length, more value, more breadth? Why? Yeah, time to get rid of that. Then the next thing is, it is really time to get rid of the Electoral College. We have the technology today. We can get a populist vote. It can be recorded. And I think there need to be quick, severe, and harsh punishments for anybody who interferes with the election system. It shouldn't be a slap on the hand. It shouldn't be a, oh my, sorry. It should be, no, federal crime. A federal crime. And a federal crime that puts you, at least in the same level as, I don't know, bank robbers, felons, yeah. A felony, that's a good one. So, last but not least, we need to have a vote of no confidence. We really need to be able to vote out all of Washington, start all over again, and say, you're not doing your job. You're doing what you need to do to stay in office. You throw us a few bones and you dine on the rest of it. You get the filet, we get the leftovers. I think it's time it needed to stop. So on that note, it's time for me to stop. So I hope you're all having a great 4th of July. I know I'm having a great 4th of July here in Vermont, and I am happy to share my birthday with you. And hopefully you'll share my words with other people. Namaste.